Two-tone is an amalgam really of punk rock and ska music, and it's very much the blending of the Western music with the Caribbean music. You know, it's a fusion together. And Jerry Dammers is the man that came up with that. You know, in the late 70s, he had this idea of melding ska music with reggae, which didn't really work, but when they sped the whole thing up to ska music, which is a type of reggae, that kind of worked, and suddenly it's like wow. And of course Jerry always had this idea that he wanted to put out his own stuff on his own record label, and they formed Two-Tone Records, and of course that was formed in Coventry, hence the reason we celebrate it in this museum. Thereon they put the single out, Gangsters and the Selector, and launched those two bands, and carried on putting out bands like The Beat and Madness and all the records that went. And of course for the first couple of years everything they put out was quite successful. We call cerebral music. It made you think. In fact, it was music for your head and for your feet. You could dance to it, you could listen to the words. You know, just because you're a black boy, just because I'm a white, doesn't mean to have to hate me, doesn't mean we have to fight. And it was music like that that made people think. You know, multicultural music. At the time, nobody even knew what multicultural was, but of course, nowadays we can tell that that's the kind of stuff they were doing, and it kind of like, you know, there was a big political thing about it as well. So it wasn't just music; it was a whole movement.
All the clubs are being closed down. This place is coming like a ghost town.
Specials and the Swinging Cats, and of course Madness and The Beat. Madness from London, The Beat from Birmingham, and they all came out of the Two-Tone label. The Beat and Madness went on and did their own thing very quickly, but they were launched by Two-Tone. So Two-Tones was a very, very strong image. You know, the black and white again, the black and white check, the Two-Tone man who's known as Walk Jabsco. And of course the bands themselves, you know, they were composed of black and white people. It was still a bit sad. There was still a lot of negative stuff going on at the time, obviously with the National Front and the racist ideas. And there were people, unfortunately, coming to the gigs, listening to a black and white band singing songs of multiculturalism, and then Zeke Harling doing, you know, being into extreme right-wing politics, which of course was not on at all. So you know, the idea was to get people and make them understand that, you know, it's black and white unite, really. It's a great tool musically. I mean, it's something that's very, you know, it's come out of Britain, and it is multicultural, as we said, and it does. And in the lyrics, you know, they're there to be dissected, if you like, and it does say a lot of stuff that is very pertinent without preaching.